you finally agree to accept your friend's invitation to join their game of Dungeons and Dragons. Or you have been a player for several sessions now and you want to be the best player you can and are wondering how can you do that? Well, you've come to the right place. Hi, my name is Rich. I'm a first-time DM and a long-time D&D player. Let's look at the top 10 ways you can be a great Dungeons and Dragons player. But first, let's start with an honorable mention. Just one note before we start. Some of these tips were provided by other players in my games, so thank you to my fellow players for their insights. Honorable mention. You are not on Critical Role. Chances are, if you are playing in a D&D game, you have watched many episodes of Critical Role, or at least some clips. Now you are worried you can't really play D&D because you can't do voices and you can't get into character like the members of Critical Role can. Don't worry about it. The members of Critical Role are highly trained voice actors and theater performers. They've been playing D&D together for 10 years now under the guidance of one of the best DMs in the game, Matt Mercer. And a couple of the players have been playing for decades longer than that. While their skills and abilities make their game truly amazing, you do not need to do voices or even get into character like they do to have a great time. Chances are your DM is not going to be Matt Mercer either. So, maintain reasonable expectations of what the game, your DM, and you as a player should be. If you want to try a voice for your character, do it. If you want to use your own voice, feel free. If you want to say something like, Daz cast Fireball instead of I cast Fireball, that's fine too. The key is to get into character as much as you feel comfortable doing. Some of us are more reserved than others, and some can do amazing voices and accents. Not everyone plays this game in the same manner. All what truly matters is to enjoy yourself. And if you follow these top 10 tips, you will give yourself the best chance at having a great time playing this wonderful game. On to the top 10. Number 10, avoid metagaming. Metagaming is having your character say or do something that they would have no reason to act that way or knowledge to drive that decision. This can be through your knowledge of the game, won't be as big of a problem if you are a new player, or knowledge gained above the table. An example of your knowledge versus your character's knowledge is something such as you as the player knows that fire will stop a troll's regenerative capability, but your character has never come across that knowledge in their life. So you use a fire-based spell instead of your go-to Ray of Frost. In this case, your character changed what they would always do on their first turn because you, as the player, knew you needed to use fire-based spells. The better way to handle this is to wait for that knowledge to be revealed in-game, either through another character's actions or knowledge. Maybe another character has fought trolls before, so during their turn they yell, "We need to use fire or it will heal." Once that knowledge is revealed, then it is perfectly fine to start using your fire-based spells. An example of your knowledge gained above table is something such as the rogue snuck ahead into a room out of sight of your character, and they found a chest that had 500 gold in it. When it is your turn, you immediately ask the rogue what he found in the chest. In this case, your character had no idea the rogue found anything, so asking about it is metagaming. The better way to handle this is you just need to wait and see if the rogue reveals what they found. Also, if it fits your character's abilities, you might ask to make an insight roll of the rogue to see if they are hiding something about what they found or saw during their exploration. Metagaming is handled differently at each table. One table it may be strictly forbidden by the DM, and others it may be something that no one worries about. However, if you stick to minimizing metagaming, it will increase your enjoyment of the game as your character is allowed to learn more about the world through their eyes and not yours as the player. Number 9, D&D is a cooperative game. You and the other players along with the DM are telling a story together with outcomes decided by dice rolls. Working together, you will defeat enemies, solve mysteries, and become heroes. This means usually going along with the other players using an improv technique called yes and. Basically, yes and means taking what another player or the DM says or does and building from it, going with the flow essentially. This could be something as simple as two characters talking about their lives while sitting around a campfire on watch. This is where a fleshed out backstory comes in handy, or interrogating an enemy to get more information. Being a cooperative game means working with the other players, especially in combat. You can hold your action so that something another player does triggers your action. In this way, you can create deadly combos or create memorable moments. It also means buffing another player so they can succeed at something, or healing others so they can continue the fight. This does not mean going along with bad ideas or something that may make your character or you as the player act in a way against your nature. More on this topic later. If you go into a game of D&D with the mindset of working with instead of against the other players and a DM, you will set you and your character up for success. Number 8, think outside the box. D&D is a fantasy game filled with magic and creatures of wonder where almost anything can happen. Your character will have amazing features, traits, and abilities along with magic items. Chances are using one of these in a different way will be the best solution to a problem. Your party is facing a locked door, but you don't have a rogue or anyone with the ability to pick locks. Then you remember you are a 6th level totem warrior barbarian that gets advantage on breaking things. So break that door down. Your party is in a hallway in a dungeon. The door you need to go through is at the end of the hallway, but there is a 20-foot chasm halfway down the hallway. No one can fly across, and your halfling cannot make that leap. Then you remember you are a dragonborn barbarian with 20 strength and should be able to toss that halfling across the chasm. The DM has you make an athletics roll. You roll an 18 and the halfling goes flying across the chasm with ease and actually crashes into the wall at the end of the hallway when they roll a nat 1 on their acrobatics check. You're a gnome wizard and your low-level party needs to retreat from the adult red dragon they just came across. You realize that you will be far behind the party and probably won't make it. However, your druid is still in their direwolf form, and you realize that because a gnome is a small creature, it can ride medium or larger creatures, and the direwolf is considered large. Jump on that wolf's back and ride them to safety. You're a Goliath ranger and got swallowed by the giant centipede. You keep falling to 0 on your turn due to the acid damage you take at the start of each of your turns. Thankfully, you keep rolling nat 20s on your death save, so you keep stabilizing. On one turn where you didn't die, you remember you have the rope trick spell. So you ask the DM if you can pull out your rope and cast the spell. If it works, you can climb up the rope and be on a different plane so you can hold out inside the creature without taking acid damage anymore. And just wait for your party to kill the creature and cut you free. These are all examples from games that I've played in where the players thought outside the box and came up with creative solutions to problems. I was the Goliath Ranger stuck in the centipede. Sadly, I kept failing my rolls to pull my rope out and toss it the distance needed for the spell, but I managed to survive about 5 rounds inside the creature due to 3 nat 20s on death saves. So, know what your character can do. This will be talked more about later. And always ask the DM if you can try something. At worst, they will say no. But chances are they will say either, you most certainly could try, which means there is a small chance of success, or they will say, hell yeah, I'm into it, probably following the rule of cool. Just remember, in D&D, there really is no such thing as a crazy idea, so try anything. Number 7, take notes. You do not need to take notes to play D&D. However, if you do, you will be able to recall that NPC's name, the name of that village you passed through, or why are you going into the swamp of eternal darkness? The notes can be involved as writing every single thing down, or it can be as simple as just names and goals. The key is to take enough notes so you can recall the information later, but not so many notes that you are missing the game because your head is looking down at your notebook the entire time. Find what works best for you and do that. Number 6, communicate with the other players and the DM. Communication at the table is key, whether it is from the DM to the players, between the players, or from the players to the DM. This communication includes any house rules and restrictions the DM may set during a session 0. It also includes any lines and veils you and the other players agree to. Also, discussing issues at the table as they arrive can prevent the party disbanding and the game coming to an end. Communication also includes the role play between the players, whether this is the players discussing their backstories or planning the party's next move. This communication isn't limited to in-game. If needed, talk to the DM or the other players before or after the game. If there is an issue you're experiencing, voice it. Good communication should help resolve the issue. This communication also includes whether you can make the next session or not, if you're going to be late, etc. There is nothing worse than a last-minute cancellation or the group waiting an hour past start time for a player to show up. Let everyone know as far in advance as you can so other plans can be made. These plans can be things such as the group playing a different game instead, canceling the session outright, your character being sick for the session, or the remaining party running a one-shot, either as existing characters or brand new ones. Emergencies happen, but if you knew a month ago you were going to miss a session, the sooner you let the group know, the more time they have to come up with something. Lack of communication is one of the biggest killers of a D&D game. Number 5, be prepared and on time. We briefly discussed being on time earlier. If the session starts at 6, don't show up at 6:15. Instead, try to show up as early as the host allows so you can eat, get your play area set up, your laptops, your dice, your character sheets, etc., and be ready to start when the DM is ready. Bring everything you need. Dice, your character sheet, either printed out or a way to access it electronically, and anything else you need. One of the worst players is the one that shows up 15 minutes late, no dice, nothing to write with, and no way to access their character because they forgot to charge their iPad. Be ready to play when the DM is ready. Number 4, play the character you want to play. As a new player, you may be told new players shouldn't play a wizard, or new players shouldn't play a battle master fighter. Even veteran players will be told things such as, why doesn't your warlock have Eldritch Blast? Why didn't you max out your wisdom as a druid? Why didn't you cast XYZ spell during ABC moment? Ignore these people. You will get more enjoyment out of this game if you play the character you want to play. Whether this is a non-optimized build of a character, a tougher character to play as a new player, or doing something different than another player thinks you should do. Play the character you want. Don't let the other players or DM tell you what or how you should be playing. The only exception would be if the DM doesn't allow certain classes or races due to settings within their world. And even then, I would be really curious why the DM is banning something, rather than simply accounting for it in their planning. Play that bard with low charisma. Play the rogue who isn't proficient in stealth. Cast whatever spell you want in any given situation. Do what makes you happy. Usually it's a non-standard, non-optimized, out-of-the-box character can be the most fun to play. One thing to keep in mind though, D&D is a cooperative game as we discussed earlier. So your character should still be able to help the party, not always cause problems for the party. There is a difference between a character that is fun to play and is still helpful versus a character that was built solely to mess with the party. That character normally ends up killing the fun for the other players. Your fun is important, but so is the fun for the other players and the DM. If you cross the line of killing the fun for the other players and the DM, you may be asked to make a new character, or you may be even asked to leave the game. So find the balance. Number 3, respect the other players, the game, and the DM. Everyone is welcome at the table, no matter their ethnicity, gender, sexual preference, neurodiversity status, political leanings, or anything else that makes us each unique. Respect the other players, no matter how different they are from you. They're there to have fun playing a game they love, just like you. This respect should include using a person's preferred name or pronouns, making accommodations if they must be on their phone or playing with a fidget spinner due to something like ADHD, as well as not crossing a player's lines and veils. It also includes discussing any issues that arise calmly, as well as listening to a player's feelings if they are describing something you are doing they don't like. Respect goes both ways at the table. Lack of respect can lead to a party disbanding or someone being asked to leave. Respecting the players also means letting each player have their moments. The DM will ensure each player gets a moment. It may not be in every session though. When it is someone else's moment, don't talk to the other players in a side conversation. Pay attention to the moment and be engaged. D&D is cooperative. This means not only working together, but also watching other players when it is their time to shine. Respecting the game means showing up on time, notifying the others if you can't come or going to be late, coming prepared to play with everything you need, showing up in a condition to play, being at whatever level of stoned or drunk is allowed at the table. All tables are different in this aspect. And being willing to play the game, not just be there to cause chaos or grief for the other players. Chances are your dungeon master has put in hours preparing each individual session, the overall world, and the campaign. Showing up late or canceling without notice shows a lack of respect to the players as well as the work the DM has put in. Most DMs do not get paid. They are running the game due to the enjoyment they get out of it. Don't constantly argue with the DM. The DM has the final say on rules and the like. Some discussion should happen, but be respectful, even if you disagree. Just like you should let a player have their moment, you should let the DM have theirs as well. This could be a monologue from the BBEG, a lore dump from the local librarian that has the information the party needs, or when the DM is role-playing as an NPC with another party member. While the story is the player's, it is the DM that is the narrator. Let the narration happen and be engaged. The DM is technically a player at the table as well, so treat them how you would want to be treated. Number 2, plan your turn ahead of time. Combat in D&D can take a long time, especially with a full table of players and a map full of enemies. It may be 15 to 20 minutes between your turns. Stay engaged. Immediately when your turn is done, start planning your next turn. Combat can be very fluid with everything changing constantly. By the time your turn comes around again, the enemy you were going to target can be gone, or the spell you were going to cast can be done now because the squishy wizard moved into the area of effect range. By the time your turn comes around, you should know exactly what you want to do, even if it is the 4th thing you came up with because everything kept changing on you. Even if you must be on your phone or doing something else, know when it is your turn and what you will do. I've been at too many tables where the player didn't know it was their turn and had no idea what they wanted to do. So it took 10 minutes before they figured it out. As a DM, I don't have a timer per turn, but there will come a point when I will ask you, what do you want to do? Or I will simply say, think about it and we'll come back. This all goes back to the respect we discussed earlier. Nothing can make combat a slog faster than a player not paying attention and having no idea what they will do next. If you watch a fast combat, you will see all the players engaged and constantly thinking about and adjusting what they will do next. Number 1, know what your character can do. D&D has a lot of rules. No one, not even the greatest DMs in the world, know all the rules. As a player, you don't have to know all the rules. You really don't even have to know any of the rules. However, you should know what your character's features, items, abilities, feats, and spells can do. You should know what your AC is. You should know what your movement is and how movement happens. You should know what advantage and disadvantage mean. In time, some of these, like AC, advantage, disadvantage, will become second nature. However, some things constantly need to be relearned, such as spells, magic items, and new abilities and feats. Read your spells, know what your items can do, know where to find specific things on your character sheet, such as saving throws, skill checks, and initiative. The game moves faster, especially in combat when players know their characters inside and out. No one is perfect, and sometimes a new ability is hard to remember at first. However, being 10 sessions in and still not knowing what advantage, disadvantage means, or that you have 30 feet of movement, is simply not acceptable. Still not knowing how Fireball works after casting it 20 times just slows the game down. Your character is an extension of you in some form and fashion. You should know the character's basic things off the top of your head at a minimum. Your character will evolve over time, so it does take effort on your part as a player to be as prepared as the DM and the other players probably are. Show them the same respect by being as prepared as you can be. Hopefully, you agreed with some of these or all of these tips and have a plan to implement them the next time you play. Please let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with these tips, as well as any other tips for players I missed. As always, if you found this useful, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Remember to ring that bell if you want to be notified when a new video from me drops. Also, keep commenting about what topics you would like to see covered in a future video. Finally, please share this video and my links with other DMs and players you may know. Thanks, as always, to @KMarie. She's the artist behind the logos you see here on my merch site and my Facebook page. If you want to give me further support, consider buying something from my merch site. There are many great items there, such as shirts, hats, cups, and stickers. Also, follow my Facebook page. I give daily DM tips as well as other updates such as what happened in my campaign that week. I also stood up a Discord channel where DMs and players can get together to discuss all things D&D. Please consider joining the channel. Links to the merch site, my Facebook page, and the Discord channel can be found in the description. If you are a DM, be sure to check out my Dungeon Master Tips playlist for DM tips and top 10 lists for DMs. The link is right over there. Thanks for watching. Now let's roll some dice.